Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara, and you have landed on Astro-cast. So, those of you who are new to this, thank you so much for joining. I roll these out every new and full moon, and we are upcoming to a beautiful new moon in Leo. It's really a cool new moon, not just because it's in Leo, and that is my sun sign, but also because it lands on this new moon Leo lands on Lionsgate Portal. And those of you who are familiar with Lionsgate Portal, you're like, yes. And those of you who are not, I'm going to explain all of that into this astrocast. I will say this, that this one may be a little longer than normal, so I'm going to do my best not to get sidetracked. But I do have a lot to share. And overarching, I just want to tell you that this new moon is absolutely beautiful for co-manifesting or co-creating, this lovely life that you have dreamed for yourself. And those of you who are already living your dream life, yay you. And I want to remind you of something. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. So whatever I talk about as far as like potentiality with the stars and the planets and what's happening potentially on an individual level, I also want you to remember that our planet is going through some pretty big changes. And this whole overarching Saturn Uranus conjunction that we've been experiencing all year long after 2020 um, is about systems meeting and like banging into innovation and freedom. And you're seeing that right now in many different countries, many different states. You're seeing, if you haven't already, um, you're bearing witness to systems that have been in place for a really long time that maybe aren't working with the new way or the new potentiality of what we can co-create in the world. So I know that sounds big, but it really is kind of the undercurrent about this new moon. So I want to share this with you. Excuse me. I also want to share with you that this new moon falls on August 8th, and August 8th is the Lionsgate portal. And Lionsgate portal, I'll talk a little bit about it as we get into this, but it really is this beautiful moment in time where the sun and Sirius kind of commingle and it's like shining this incredible light. And so if you were like sitting there in your little room at your altar journaling about what you want, there's this energetic pull from Sirius saying, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What is it? So and I'll talk a little bit about scientifically what that means, but be in a space of really asking yourself, like, what have I desired that maybe I've put off? Or what is it that I truly desire in this relationship, in this life, in this career, in this whatever it is, right? And then remember too, we have all these gorgeous aspects with this new moon, and I'll go over that too. I'm going to show you my screen in a moment that really are pointing in the direction of joy. So don't get caught up in the Saturn Uranus conjunction. We need to know about it. We need to know that it's happening. We need to see the places where system is meeting, systems and restrictions are meeting innovation and freedom individually and collectively, right? So notice those, but don't get so hung up where you're not experiencing the joy. And so, really, I'm going to go over everything, but if that's all you need to take from this reading, that's all you really need to take. So, if you're like, I got to hurry, I got to go, take that and then come back, listen to the rest. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. I want to give you dates and all that kind of stuff too. And I'm going to make this screen bigger so I can see it because otherwise I'll be squinting and then that just won't look very good for anybody. It's not a good look for anyone. Well, maybe it is for you, but it definitely is not for me. Okay, so here is the new moon, August 8th, 8/8, 6:50 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so all this really is, you guys, is just a screenshot of what the planetary alignments look like when we look up in the sky. I'm going to talk about something here called the finger of God in a moment, and I'm just going to point this out. It's this dotted green line, and I'm going to talk about that. We know it's a new moon because we've got the moon and the sun both sitting here with the sign in the sign of Leo. at 16 degrees. Excuse me. But you also notice Mercury sitting there, and and I'm going to talk about this, while it's not an exact conjunction, it's close enough to make a point. And so I'm going to talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about Jupiter sitting over here. Jupiter is directly across from Mercury, but it's also the steering point of this finger of God. It's in the exact center of Neptune and Pluto. Okay. And if you were to draw like a line, oh, look, they did that for me. Isn't that beautiful? From Neptune to Pluto, they're creating a sextile. And again, I'm going to talk about this. So when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Jupiter is like the handle that's steering because it's exactly in the center. So this is a really magical time. And I also want to say that with the Saturn Uranus conjunction, um, Uranus is higher mind. I'll go ahead and stop share for a moment when I'm not using the screen. Uranus is the higher mind, so it's those innovative ideas, it's the inspiration, it's the your higher self. So when I talk a little bit here about why it's going to be really important to connect with your higher self, this is why. Uranus is all about these higher mind ideas, but if we're stuck in low level density and we're stuck in that energy of like um, the day to day, the Mercury stuff, um, you're going to lose out on the magic of the finger of God and the steering of abundance and all of it. So I want to share my screen again, but just know that this really is a really epic new moon. So first of all, 6:50 a.m., 8 Pacific Standard Time, 6:50 a.m. New Moon Leo, all about love. It's about heart chakra. It's about leadership. It's about confidence in oneself. It's about enthusiasm. It's about being excited about something. Um, Leo is about sovereignty, about using its own inner authority. Leo is ruled by the sun, so it's all about love and connection and really shining and being that visionary leader of your life. And being a visionary leader doesn't mean you have to go out into the world and do anything. It means that you're just a visionary leader of your life and you get to lead your life in the way that you see fit. So that's something that I really would love for you to remember as you go out into the world and co-create your life. The biggest thing is to stay, and I'm going to say this multiple times in this reading, stay out of drama, stay away from negativity, stay away from too much output, and be in this place of um, where can I focus? I want to put my focus on me. I want to put my focus on my life, this family, my whatever it is that you have going on. Be in that place. There's so much happening in the world right now, and I'm not even going to go there. You pick your discussion. Just stay out of those discussions, at least for the next few days before the new moon, which is now, and a few days after. Be really immersed in creativity and what lights you up. And like my plan for the weekend is to garden. Like I am going to go and I'm going to play in my garden because that makes me happy. I'm going to stay off my computer. Just anything that kind of creates that sense of tension, try to just stay out of it for a little bit, if not forever. Because who knows, maybe if you do that, then through this Lionsgate portal, it'll just dissolve and or rectify itself. Um, and this energy really does create space for magic and mysticism and high vibratory frequency because it's landing on August 8th. And um, the number code 8 means abundance or infinity, spiritual intelligence. It's also that sign for like DNA activation for creativity. So it really is believed that scientifically speaking, on August 8th every year, we can integrate the higher frequencies. I'm going to go ahead and stop share. I feel weird not being there. We go. We can integrate these higher frequencies within us, within our own self. We can say to ourselves, well, this is what I um, tend to lean toward and co-create in my life. as long as we are acting from a place of love with motivation of heart chakra. Um, the motivation is connection on a deeper level, something that is in that optimistic high vibe, and that we're asking for a divine flow, right? So, think of, and I mentioned Cirrus, right? So when we talk about Cirrus, which is a story now about August 8th, many civilizations will go all the way back to Cirrus as being a time of rebirth. So it's considered a spiritual aspect of the sun, and so it's a time of rebirth. It's a time of abundance. It's a time of what I've been calling up leveling into a higher state of understanding. Now, when we start to move into a higher state of understanding something, what comes up? All of our old bleep, all of it, all of our old stuff comes up. And you can either watch yourself in those old patterns and go, oh, wait a minute, that is not what I want in this new Cirrus infused space, and stop. Or you can take it with you, but it's going to get heavy because this new energy is light. So when we move into the higher realms of understanding, we begin to recognize the baggage that we carry, and we have a choice. So that's one beautiful reason behind this new moon being so magical. It's landing on this day of the Lionsgate portal. Now, it's it's a it's it's a beautiful, not just a numeric code, but also a code of remembering that you are connected to everything that is. So remember, it looks like the DNA activation code, right? So we're like these little human energy bodies, right? And we have this, what I call our earth suit, and we're walking around our earth school and we're learning all the lessons, right? But when we pause for a moment and we meditate and we ask for those connections to a higher self, and we ask our higher self, what do I want in this moment? What is for the best and highest good in this moment? What can I contribute? This is the energy that it will be almost completely available. So let's say it takes you like 20 minutes to meditate to get to that place, right? This energy will say, like, here it is. So clear the clutter of your mind, your heart, your body. If you haven't already, I've been talking about it for a few months now, and allow yourself some space to drop into that. Um, while this Lionsgate, this 8/8 happens every year, 2021 is extra special because it coincides with that new moon. So just be in a remembrance of knowing that you are completely supported in your dreams, in your visions. Pay attention to your dreams, write them down, and watch yourself as if you were observing this like incredible genius at work on the planet. Like, try not to get caught up in all the other stuff. It's just a waste of time. Think about, if you haven't already, I know I have been practicing this and it works. Think about how you want to create your life, whether it's like a, 2-degree turn in one direction, or maybe it's like a 180 and you have to do a whole flip. Um, just let whatever that is come from your heart, and know that you have the ability to create it. The spirit is just waiting for you to call it out. This is an epic, 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 epic time. Okay. And I'm going to go over what's going on with Uranus too. So don't think you can pause now. um, it is this one in particular is about intention setting, but setting intentions from your highest self. Okay, so go beyond that and ask your higher self, is this for my highest good? Like, I want to create all this safe financial abundance, but is financial abundance in this moment my best and highest good? Or maybe I've got to turn a little bit to the left and connect with family or health or whatever. Okay, this makes sense. I'm going to move on because I could go all day on that one. And it has nothing to do with astrology per se. But just know that this is super important right now. And some of you may have noticed too, you're sleeping longer, needing more sleep, like just being maybe like hardwire things going wrong. Email, we have 4 planets in retrograde right now. So, you know, everything is asking us to kind of rewire, reset, rework. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. I could go on a tangent and just talk so long, so I'm going to try not to. Okay, so Uranus and Saturn, I talked a little bit about it. I'll just show you where it is here. So where are we? Here's Saturn. And then we have at 9 degrees Aquarius, and then here's Uranus at Taurus, 14 degrees. So they're not at an exact square right now, but they're close enough, and they'll exact square each other again in December. They already did it once in June and once in January, February. So just know that that's that restriction versus freedom that I talked about. And what's beautiful about this, it's, well, first of all, it's been challenging. And if you just look at it from the perspective of like mask, no mask, right? Like gather in public, don't gather in public, like it's simple to see, right? Like that's a simple example of what we're experiencing. But I would ask you to look in your own life and ask yourself, where am I restricting myself? Where am I allowing myself freedom? That sort of thing. Where is that happening in my own life, in my relationships, all of that. Um, but then know that this new moon is actually like trying to break us free from that Saturn Uranus square. It's actually asking us to take all those innovative ideas that we've had and all the times where we stood up for what we believed in or whatever shifts we've made to actually apply it to Mercury. That's why Mercury is sitting right here with the new moon. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but we're actually starting to co-create. Doesn't mean we're like quote unquote out of the woods of this Saturn Uranus square, but it does mean we're coming closer and closer to this divine connection to our higher self in real time. Divine connection to our higher self in real time. God, I love that. I hope someone writes that down. So it's applying the aspects of what we truly desire into um, manifest. So when people say to me, when they say, I just had somebody say this the other day, they're like, well, you can just manifest that. And I posted something the other day too, like it takes 84 bazillion years to manifest something. I want you to remember that you can manifest all you want. Like you are manifesting every single second of the day, every thought, anything that comes out of your mouth, everything you're doing is manifesting the next moment. The question becomes, are you manifesting from a place that is from the heart, or are you manifesting from old patterns? And are you co-manifesting and allowing spirit to help you, or are you just like, I am this amazing earth school person that's manifesting what I want? Because you don't want that either. You want to continually like beam up to a higher self. Higher self, is this what is best for me? That's this energy. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just go back to the screen because I've been working with clients and this is like been the big theme. um okay, square to Uranus new moon, so I want to show you this. So here is Uranus right here. So Uranus is squaring all of this combobulation. The new moon is only within 2 degrees, and also Mercury within 7 degrees. So Uranus is the planet of change. So Uranus is going to give you some unexpected instances, some circumstances, some, potentially intense things might happen, or maybe not. But things will shift. And remember, Uranus is higher mind, Mercury lower mind. So those two are like colliding with each other. So it's like day-to-day thoughts with these bigger ideas. Well, how am I going to it shows up like this. You ready? How am I going to manifest that? Like, I have to pay the bills. I have this great idea, but I can't possibly go out and do that because, well, someone's got to put food on the table. Okay, you're not relying on spirit. You're not relying on higher self. And we all have used those words before. I know we have, all of us. I've even used them before. So my invitation to you is to notice where those things like start to kind of collide, where you have these big ideas or you're asking for some sort of big change. Allow it to come in. Don't push the river. Don't like avoid what could be beautiful when you are using your lower mind to actually try to create something. Like, ask spirit, okay, this is such a great idea. Can y'all show me like the first step? Because I'm a little confused. I'm stuck in my little pea-sized brain. That's what I like to say. I'm stuck in my little pea-sized brain. Could you just show me? And then always something happens. Something shows up and I go, ah, there it is. Thank you. You know, Uranus also rules electricity, like speed, computer systems, things like that, right? So technology. So I wasn't surprised when my car battery died twice in the last month. No idea why. Anyways, could be just, faulty battery, but I choose to think that spirit's like, hey girl, you need an update. So, you know, just pay attention to these little moments in time that are asking you to shift and be open to a new way, or a new way of doing things, a new way to speak, a new way to be. Because when you do that, that Saturn Uranus square that's still happening, what happens is this new moon Leo ushers in this super strong, authoritative leadership type of attitude. And it reminds us that we're unbreakable, we're unshakable. We are like, okay, spirit, you're funny. That's funny. I think you're funny. But I am in the new moon Leo energy, and I know you're giving this to me for a reason. So I'm going to listen, I'm going to pay attention, I'm going to just take care of business, and I'm going to move on into something new because you're not going to snag me into the old. And that can be whatever instance you have happening, but that is this energy. It's like this little testing, like dunk, 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 dunk. Or it could be like a rip the rug underneath you, out from underneath you. So just be mindful. Know that life is like this. It's this wave. You're just like riding the wave, riding the wave, riding the wave. So yeah, I'm not going to even tell you any more examples from my personal story, but it's been like a fun little wave. I'm glad I have a sweet boogie board and lots of community. So while this new moon is a really high time for like, it's like this massive time for high creativity, it's a power of change. It's like point number two. So be ready for change. Like put that idea out on the plate, out on the paper, in your journal, in your manifest, in your circles, whatever you're doing, but continually go back to handing it to spirit and saying, okay, so show me, is this the right way? Because if it's not the right way, I want you to point me in the right direction. Uranus has a way of surprising. It's just what Uranus does. It's like the little toddler. So just be open to something shaking up the way you see things, or um, handing you something that you hadn't thought of before, or some like wonderful new idea. If you feel like you're feeling scattered, that's Uranus, because Uranus is like ding, 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 ding. So just try to use these tools of like meditation and, grounding, going out into nature, digging in the dirt, whatever you need to do to like get yourself um, into this connection with who you are at a soul level, but also who you are in this earth suit. Okay. Um, let's see. I talked about all that. I write all these notes and then I'm like, I already talked about that, and then I don't even really use them. This Leo new moon is about leadership. So it's not about playing small. It's about noticing your fears and moving forward in spite of them. So saying, gosh, that really scares me. I don't know. And just move forward in spite of those fears. Just like, bam, I can do this. I have this whole army, this spiritual army behind me. I'm ready, right? And and remember, if it comes from the heart, right? So whatever it is that you're putting out there, moving through, let the energy come from the heart. Period. End of story. It's Leo, heart chakra, all about love, all about forgiveness, all about gratitude. So amplify those practices. Um, Again, I talked a little bit about Uranus. It brings about some rapid changes, things like that. One thing I don't think I said, and this is important, When Uranus is at play and we have like unexpected changes, those unexpected changes or, you know, things that might happen in our lives that really are unexpected, we created them somehow, they come up and then we react, right? But when we react, we're not coming from the higher self, we're coming from the ego. So notice when something happens, allow yourself to react if you need to react. Maybe you're observing yourself react and you're like, there I go, I'm reacting. Okay. And then allow yourself some tools to, okay, I'm going to integrate this lesson. I'm going to allow this lesson to come through. What is this change that this lesson is moving me to more toward, or what is it trying to clear? Because this is a super big clearing new moon, big clearing new moon, all about Jupiter, expansion, abundance, all of it. Um, and then I want to talk about this finger of God. Okay, there it is. I'm going to talk about the finger of God really quick. So I'm going to share my screen. So the finger of God here, we've got Mercury. Well, we actually have Mercury and the new moon at the top. So all the things I just said at the apex of the finger of God. And so whenever I think of the finger of God, I think about that picture painted. It's by Michelangelo where the two fingers are touching and it's like magic, right? So just think of that. Okay, just think of that for a minute. So the apex of this triangle is your day-to-day Mercury, communication, life with the new moon. So everything I just talked about. And the two bases of it are Neptune, which is magic, mysticism, the underworld, truth versus illusion, positive transformation, major breakthroughs, things like that on one end. And on the other end, it's Pluto, which is like big time transformation, again, underworld, inner transformation, um, rebirth, right? So you have those two, Pluto and Neptune, at the bottom. So if you were making like a triangle, right? Remember I showed you this? So I have Neptune to Pluto, and then with the apex being those three planets. And then in the center, Jupiter, Jupiter expansion, wisdom, knowledge, steering that boat. So Jupiter steering is the finger of God. So pay attention how you're steering your life. Surrender and allow. Don't force, because if you're steering so hard that you're not allowing spirit to help you, you're going to steer wherever you think you're supposed to be going, but that might not be your path. And you might be going up this river that has a bunch of boulders and then a freaking waterfall at the end. But if you kind of like just sit in the boat and like hold the rudder of Jupiter in your hand and kind of watch it as it goes, you can allow the boat to move into the direction that spirit wants for you. Um, it gets exhausting when we force things, right? So um, just know that this finger of God pointing to the new moon is like absolutely incredible. It's incredible. And you don't see finger of God very often. And some people have a finger of God in their chart. I have a finger of God in my chart. A couple other people that I know do. And it's important to know what that top point is. And in this case, for the planet, for all of us, it's Mercury, new moon in Leo, leadership, authority, sovereignty, all this beautiful energy that is really coming forth, trying to come through. So don't resist it. Don't push it away. Allow it to happen. And the best thing you can do is live from the heart and ask higher self, what is the best for me? What is it that I like just desire so much in this life? And it could be completely on the opposite end of what you're experiencing right now. And you may not even know and just be like, you know what? Just show me what's up. Make it super gentle if I need to make a change. Allow me to experience a sense of joy. Let me work through my resistance, my systems that are running that are keeping me from experiencing that, but I'm open. And here's what I feel, and this is my desires that I want to co-manifest and, you know, be in that communion with higher source. It's so important. I'm just going to share my screen one more time. Um, with Mercury opposite Jupiter, which is Mercury at the apex, Jupiter at the bottom center of that finger of God, this is an indication of moving into something brand new. This is about a positive mindset. It's about trusting your intuition and ideas. The negative side of that, or the darker side of that, is if you resist change, or if you think that you know everything. Like I said, sit in the back of that boat and allow Jupiter to be the rudder, and just like allow it to kind of lead the way. And then with Mercury and Neptune, and Mercury and Pluto, it really is about you learning the difference between truth and illusion, between transformation and resistance, like really truly in your own life, but also as you, as how you work in the world. So, you know, how can you transform the way you speak, the way you integrate information? How can you look at things differently? How can you communicate differently? All of that is about this new moon. So I'm going to go ahead and stop share. I think that's really all I can say. I feel like I've gone over my time, but this really is a powerful, powerful new moon. And it's a new moon that is just bursting with like amazing opportunity. So don't miss it. If you want your chart read, please feel free to reach out to me. I love reading people's charts. It's a great time to do it around a lunation cycle. And those of you in Encinitas, I am leading another moon circle at Alila Spa and Resort. Um, and all of that is on my website. It's also on Instagram. So if you go to danademora.com, you can find it underneath astrology. You'll see sound bath or moon circle. I would love to have you come, and I think we're already halfway full. So it's a beautiful event. Wherever you are in the world listening to this, if you don't have access to something like that, just be in your bestest meditative space. You can listen to sound bath online. You can find meditative music online. You can sit in nature wherever you are, even if it's in your own backyard. So don't feel like you have to search outside of yourself to connect to higher source, right? But if you're here in Encinitas, come and hang out with me because it's going to be really fun. In the meantime, please, please enjoy this new energy. Be as quiet and as deliberate as you can, and just truly create like a little cocoon of love around yourself for a little bit. It will do you some good. I want to say thank you so much. And again, you know how to reach out to me. Just find me on my website. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.